Welcome to another episode of School of Thought podcast. Today, we are shining the light on this Miss Beautiful Talia Dunham. I hope I said it right. She
Yes, you
is the
did.
CEO of SVG Network.com. Welcome, Miss Dunham. So glad to have you on today,
I'm
shining
so
the
glad.
light on you and your business.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Tell us a little bit about you before I start asking my questions.
Sure. I am the owner of SVG Network. I do a lot of things, but the main thing that we are focusing on at this present moment is coaching businesses to be able to see themselves in the light that God desires for them to be seen in. I've been in business now for approximately, I'm going to say 18 years. I'm a graphic designer, branding specialist, recently married over the last 4 years with two bonus boys added on. I have one 16-year-old daughter that lives with us who is an entrepreneur as well. And I just try my best to give people what God gives me so that they can be successful.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, what inspired you to create SVG Network, and how does it serve inspire entrepreneurs, businesses, and ministries?
So what inspired me to actually start SVG Network was um, maybe about 10 years ago, God gave me SVG Network and I didn't understand what he meant. And so he said, see vision grow. And so with see vision grow, um, he gave it to me to where I'm able to help ministries, businesses, startups, to be able to see their vision in the light that he sees there. Sometimes when we see our vision or we see the things that are before us, we see it on a low scale, or we see it with our natural eye. We never see it exactly where God intends for us to be able to be. And ever since I was a kid, I've always been had this eye of seeing further than what is going on at the present moment. I will never forget seeing when my sister started preaching before she became a pastor. I seen her congregants at the age of 12 years old. I would see her and we would drive in different places. And I would never forget the tennis arena in New York. When we would drive past it, I would always tell her, that's where you're going to preach. That's where you're going to preach. And so God has always given me an eye to be able to see people's vision beyond what they see it. And my desire is to pull that out of them so that they can scale their business, ministry, or whatever it is that they're doing and bring it to full fruition as far as what God wants them to do.
I like that. I like that. So, could you share more about Command Your Business Challenge?
So the Command Your Business Challenge that came about a couple of weeks ago. God kept telling me to command my morning. I just recently started actually walking in the light of my SVG network and consulting. And so I got my life coaching certificate, and I was sitting and I was talking with a client, and I remember my sister called me and she sent me a scripture about commanding your morning.
Mhm.
When she sent me the scripture about commanding your morning, God reminded me that he had told me, he tells me every single morning to get up at 4 a.m. and to pray, but not only pray for myself, but to pray for the businesses that I deal with. And when I started doing that, God said, do a command your business challenge. And so with the command your business challenge, we are inspiring young entrepreneurs, ministries, anyone to be able to know how to set biblical principles along with what it is that they're doing in business and command it to come forth according to what God says.
I like that. I like that. So, you would say that the biblical foundation, that biblical foundation, play a major role in teaching the businesses or the structure of the business.
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes I never notice it, but I've been consulting for years, even though I would do my graphic design. If a ministry or someone would call me, I gave them insight. I gave them foresight of what it is that they should do and how they would walk in things, and never realized that for years I was already coaching and I was already teaching people, and I wasn't getting paid for it. So,
I like
um, in the process of me doing that, God said, start and teach people how to command their business. And we noticed that a lot of times that are entrepreneurs that are either freelancers or just starting their businesses, they don't realize that they skip steps. And so God said, go back to the foundation and show them how to start their business the correct way. So in the Command Your Business Challenge, we're taking them through 10 days of reconstructing, making sure that they have everything in order, that they have the EIN number, they have their business registered, they have their business plan written out, make sure they have their branding together, things like that. So it is a 10-week actual intensive class where we're teaching them on Zoom how to understand what their vision is, their intentions are, and by the time that they're finished, they will be able to have registered with their business, registered their Dun and Brads, and have things in order so that once the new year comes in, they'll be able to start fresh.
So give us a couple of success stories from your participant who engaged in the Command Your Business Challenge.
That's actually going forward at this present moment. Monday will be our second week of the Command Your Business Challenge. And I have already seen some that have actually grown in different areas. So two of them already actually went and got their EIN number. They're working on their brand. They're getting the things together that they need. Some of them are already, because people are already on different journeys. So some of them already have certain things in place. They just don't know where else to go. And so we created a manual, a workbook that we created to go along with this. And so what we do is we walk them through this throughout the challenge, and we kind of help them do what needs to be done. So I had one particular student that she was stuck. She didn't know where to go. She didn't know how to do things. She has a group where she has almost only, I think, close to 10,000 people in her Facebook community group. And she just stopped communicating. She said life was lifing, and she stopped communicating with them. The group had became dry. And so I kind of gave her some words of encouragement and told her exactly what she should do to get things back on track. And I will never forget, she sent me a text message while I was away in Chicago. And she said, I just did one thing that you told me to do, and in 24 hours, I made $2,000.
Wow. That's a success story. That is a success story. How many minutes? How many days?
24 hours.
24 hours. I like that. So that mean that you're saying that mean the wisdom that you have in the Command Your Business Challenge is actually opening up people's eyes to walk into their success.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
beautiful.
ma'am.
That is beautiful. Well, let's go with my next question. What unique challenges do you believe entrepreneurs and small businesses owners face today? And how does the Command Your Business Challenge equip them to overcome those hurdles?
So the unique things that they face more than anything
Mm-hmm.
is they skip steps. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
our businesses, we skip steps. And
Mm-hmm.
so God had to even remind me, and that was something that I had when we would start a business. 95% of us that start businesses, you may start off as a freelancer. You may just start off with, posting your information on social media, getting people to purchase things from you, and you don't know how to properly set things in order. And you
Mm-hmm.
continue in that way out of survival. And because you continue in that way out of survival or out of a quick dollar, your foundation is not strong. And so,
Mm-hmm.
because your foundation is not strong, it causes you to have this roller coaster effect that goes on and on with your business. And so, you find people that's times where they are, a 95% of the people that I've dealt with are a lot of crafters. And so they move on to the next craft because they feel like this is not the right craft for me, or this is not working, or this is not working. when in actuality, it's the systems that they've put in place that are not working. And so if you put the systems in place and you use them properly and don't skip steps like, normally people would do when they don't read instructions, they skim over them and you miss important keys. You skip the steps, and because you skip certain steps, you skip vital information that cause a leak to come in where you're not able to fully function at the right capacity that you're supposed to. And so with the Command Your Business Challenge, we're showing them you can't skip steps when it comes to actually being effective in business or being effective in what it is that God has called you to do. Because when he gives you instructions, he says line upon line and precept upon precept. So that means that he's telling you that you have to walk according to everything that I've set out for you. There is no skipping steps when you are called of God, or when God has given you a command to do. You have to walk it out completely from A to Z. And then that's the way that you become successful. You can't go from A, then go to C, then go to F, and then come back to B thinking that it's going to work properly, because it's not, because there's still something that you're missing.
I like that. I like that because that's the difference between excellent and just gift. Because sometimes you could have a gift and you could have a vision, but then you have to walk it into excellent. And I believe what you just said, step by step, and I think that's a great challenge, will bring your business and your vision into a place of excellence. Because
Yeah.
I do believe that your product have to be excellent before you offer it to people.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that things is and I'm not I'm not a salesperson or marketing. I'm learning it now when it comes to what I'm doing, but um I'm a brand specialist. I'm a vision builder. And because God has given me the gift of innovation and building things, I can tell when either their heart is in what they're doing, or they're just doing it either out of survival or doing it because it's a side hustle. It's something that they're doing. And so God had to show me how to remove the hustle out of your business. Um,
Oh, I like
remove
that.
the hustle. He said, remove the hustle from your business and function as the woman of God that I called you to be, which is the business person that God has called me to be. And so once you remove the hustle, it'll be easier for you to flow, because you'll be able to understand that there are things that I've set in place and set in order for you, and you're causing yourself to miss out on fundamental keys, and not only fundamental keys, but even funding, because you have not gotten things in place and in order properly.
I like that. I like that, especially about the part removing the hustle, because you do have different type of people that wants to open up their business. Some of them is full time. I'm very serious. I want my vision to become a reality. But then you have somebody that's doing it as a side hustle, as a second stream of income. That's not really want the detail. I just want to make money real quick. So you saying that you are more of a brand developer, kind of say
Right.
that you want people that are serious about their brand, not somebody that wants to make quick money.
Yes, definitely, because it doesn't you can't, something that one of my mentors who introduced me to you, Crystal Hill, she said to me was, or when you're doing a business, you have to think about the needs of the people. And
Mhm.
so a lot of the people that I teach, because I went viral with obituary designs, a lot of them want to learn how to do obituaries designs, but you're only doing it for $1. I don't do it for that. And so I can't teach you how to be successful, or how to make sure that your design comes out and it gives the family what they need properly, if you're doing it as a hustle. Because for me, it's not a hustle. It is not just a business, but it's a ministry. And
Mhm.
so when I design for these families, I try to make sure that I capture
Mhm.
the essence of who the person was that passed on. And
Mhm.
so my design is captured around who they are. And then what makes me unique about what I do is that God gives me wisdom, and he downloads in prayers or sometimes information to me that a person may not necessarily have revealed to me. And I will write a letter in every obituary that I've done for personal families outside of funeral homes. God gives me the ability to write a letter to the loved one or the family member. And basically what I do is, in that encouragement, sometimes they'll say, how did you even know that? I went into prayer. And this is what God has given me to kind of give to you, to let you know that it's okay. And grieving is a process for you to go through, but I'm here with you.
I like that, especially something that sensitive as obituary. You
Yes,
can't
ma'am.
do that for money. You got to have a heart and a passion to what is it that you're trying to accomplish, right? So
Yes,
that means the brand building is really want to start with um the person's passion,
correct.
right? Because
Right.
quick money, then you're not going to think about what the family want. You're not going to think about what they're looking for, to be sensitive for that moment. So that I could understand that, because you got to have passion. It is about the need of the people. Your product have to have a need. I tell people often, I don't want to support you because of your ethnic. I want to support you because you are excellent. Your product is needed. It's
Yes.
what I need. So I appreciate that about you for the brand, because you know exactly who you want to help brand.
Yes, definitely. I want to make sure that businesses and ministries or anyone that I assist, as far as getting themselves together and in business or in ministry,
Mhm.
that you understand what your purpose is. And
Mhm.
so when you actually understand what your purpose is, but you also identify know your identity,
Mhm. Mhm.
then you're unstoppable.
Mhm.
You're unstoppable, because a lot of times people who start businesses, they're walking in the identity of someone else and not in who God called them to be. And so you
Mhm.
can never fully be something that God has said to me as well is occupy at full capacity. You'll never be able to occupy at full capacity, and if you don't understand who you are
Mhm.
and what your identity is. And
Mhm.
so that's what we deal with an SVG network and Command Your Business. We teach you how to understand who you are and value who you are, and now take who you are and be able to reach your target audience or the needs of the people that it is that you're called to assist. Because if you don't know what it is or who it is that you're called to meet, always going to be you're always going to miss. It's
Mhm.
always going to be like a miss, a mismatch. Sometimes you'll get the right one, sometimes you won't, and that's what causes the roller coaster effect, because you're just putting things out there to make a quick dollar, but you're not solving the problem of your audience.
That is true. I think that's the main key right there. If you're not solving the problem, because I guess that's the first question that you ask your client: what are you doing to solve the problem of your client?
And a lot of times they can't answer.
I'm so
A
sorry.
lot of times, no, you're
We're
fine.
having
A
a
lot
little.
of times they can't answer that question. When you ask them what is it that they do, they give you a broad um, answer. And so the thing that I say to them all the time is, you have to think about, if a millionaire came to you and said, what problem do you solve, and why would my investment be good for you?
Uh,
How do
that
you
is
answer that
that's a
question?
good answer. That's a good answer to
You have to be
have,
able to
because
answer that very quickly,
your
without a doubt,
investors will
and
walk
walk in
away.
confidence. Right.
Hmm. They will walk away. So yeah, that is a very good question. I think those are very specific, detailed, and sensitive areas that I think your company is great to take people there, because most people don't think like that. Most entrepreneurs don't think in that manner. So you taking them into the places very detailed, and how we're going to do that, and what is your passion, and what is your real goal? Does your product really meet a need? All of those are very important questions as an entrepreneur that they need to answer. So I think your company, C Vision, what is SVG stand
See
for?
vision grow.
See Vision grow. And how can it grow without adding something to it for it to grow? So, and then I'm sure in that area, you're going to have entrepreneur that's willing to grow, that's willing
Yeah.
to take the advice to grow.
Yes, implementation. That is something that Crystal teaches me all the time. Implementation. I can see something that my late apostle John H. Boyd would say to me. I'm from New York, originally from New York. And what he would say over the pulpit was, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it.
That is
And
true.
so, the first thing that you have to understand is this, do you want to grow? So we have prospective questions, and we have things that we ask you in our discovery calls before we even go any further with you. And to me, it's, even though I'm making money, I have to let people know it's not about the money, because if you're not a proper fit for me, if you're not a proper candidate for me, the first thing I'm going to say is, go back and ask God again.
Oh, wow. I like that. That you're willing to say no to somebody because they're not your client.
Right. I refuse to assist someone, because you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is you're going to cause your heads are going to start bumping, because their vision is to get what you have from them, because they see what you can do. And so 90% of the time they're coming to pull from you, and now you're drained,
That's true. That is
because they're like a leech. So you don't want to deal with someone who is only to pull, but you want to be able to deal with someone who's able to pull and also able to give, and so that you both are able to grow in areas of your business or in your life, period. The connections that you make in business and in life are vital to your success.
that is true. That is very true. I like that. Very wise. I really love that. And I really recommend that you get on svgnetwork.com. And this, to me, your company is like super needed in entrepreneurship, because we need that detail. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming. Ty, let me say your name right. Tahila.
That's
Tahila.
fine.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So my name is a conversation piece too, so I have to teach people how to say my name. So
Yes, ma'am.
so I appreciate everyone for joining us. I know this is some good information. I want you to go back and rewind and listen to the information. Really take, if you want to be a really successful entrepreneur, I really recommend that you get on the website svgnetwork.com. And if you want to listen to this episode and other School of Thought podcasts, you're welcome to get on enlightentv1.com. enlightentv1.com, that you're able to get into, listen to the website again. So this is your flyers,
Yes, ma'am.
business coaching and consulting services. See Vision Grow. I just love that name. See, because you got to envision, you got to be able to see your vision before it start growing. When you see it, then you're going to see the growth. I love it. I love the name, See Vision Grow. So this is beautiful. Don't forget to go on her website and book her, svgnetwork.com. Building brand in a successful, excellent way. I love. So go and enlightentv.com, enlightentv1.com, enlightentv1.com, if you want to listen to more School of Thought podcasts, and share with your friends and family about different businesses, entrepreneurship, and the everything that you need to equip yourself to be an entrepreneur is there. So thank you so much for joining us in this very session. And Ms. Dunham, you have done a beautiful job, and I thank you so much for joining us. So thank you. You have yourself a great day, and thank you for joining us.